3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Dialogue Alley is a show all about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I am Erik from Nocturne Erik on Instagram. And with me today is Melanie from the Harry Potter Collection on Instagram.
Hello.
Hello. That's it. It's just us.
Cricket, cricket.
I think a door just opened and went, like, made a creaking noise. No, it didn't.
The Haunted Podcast.
The Haunted Podcast. Anywho's, well, it's just the two of us here. So, Melanie and I are both Harry Potter book translation collectors. We collect Harry Potter books in all different languages from all over the world, which is such an amazing hobby. And it was so cool to find other people that also did this.
It's pretty wild and pretty spectacular and so cool that there is this cool little group of us.
There is, and I feel like more people are joining the group almost every week. I get some messages on Instagram about, like, where can I pick up some of these books? How can I get started? What are some easy ones to start with? And it's just cool to hear, more people getting involved in that collection.
Yeah, I love it. I love hearing about new collectors. It's like fun getting to live vicariously through them, but also I do not envy them when they get up to those difficult books.
Oh, exactly. And if you don't know what we're talking about, there are some really difficult translations to get, and we've talked about them in some previous episodes. But if you've been sticking around with us since we've started, you probably know that already.
That's right.
That's right. You can probably tell Carly's not here with us tonight. She's got kind of a work schedule shift around.
She's a busy bee. She's a very busy little bee.
She is busy. But that's okay, because we're going to find a time that we can all record again together soon.
Yeah. But until then, we are still going to try our very best to make sure we get an episode out, hopefully every week. But, we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. We do our best.
But there's always time for Potter.
Yes, and that's what's so great about this, is we get to take some time every week and talk to each other about something that we love, and that is Harry Potter and Harry Potter books. So, I think we should start talking about it.
Sounds great.
All right, let's get into some news.
So we have a couple of new little news tidbits to talk about today. One of them is we have some new artwork that we need to talk about. For one, the Rolling Library just sent out this little tweet, and they announced that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is being kind of re-released with this new cover art, and it's going to be a paperback edition. And what it seems like is now being the play is only in one part, which is something that we talked about a few episodes ago. We're thinking that the book is re-released as just that one part. That's what my hunch is.
Yeah, it's a good speculation. I think someone on Twitter pointed out that the title of the book no longer says parts 1 and 2.
Right.
So, you just went to the play a few weeks ago in the one-part version. So, and you did mention in your little recap that there were parts that were kind of cut out. So, yeah, it only makes sense that they'd come out with a script that is what the current play is.
Yeah, so I would be interested. I was saying also after watching the play, I'd be interested in looking back at the original screenplay of Cursed Child, the book, and kind of browsing through it and seeing what parts were left out. But now that there's going to be this new version, which hopefully it's what I think it is, and it's just the one whole part. Now you can kind of look at the books side by side I'm hoping, and you'll be able to kind of see those differences. So that would be really
that'd
cool.
be way easier than like trying to
remember
everything, because it's still a long show, right?
Oh my gosh,
one part.
It is very long. It is very long, but the play is very magical. The book, but the play, pretty magical.
Still on my bucket list of things to do.
You guys have to do a New York trip. You have to go see the play. You have to go to Harry Potter New York, do the virtual reality, and it's like just make a whole trip out of it.
You know, we should do that, because I haven't been to New York since before my daughter was born. That was like over 4 years ago. My wife was pregnant when we were there. And I didn't know you at the time, but if I had, I would have been able to see you, because I was just literally bumming around Brooklyn for like a week. Like we'd have days where we like had no plans. Like, what do you want to do? I don't know. Let's just walk around.
Aw, well, yeah, it's like an hour and a half car ride. So I'd be there. If you were in the city, I'd be there.
I know. Well, and so maybe we can leave the kids at home and take a little couples weekend, and we go to New York and do some stuff. I'd love to do that.
Oh, it sounds so fun. Awesome. In other news, this is something I thought we talked about this last week, but
I'm pretty sure we talked about it at some point, but we didn't know the details that we know now.
I don't know. I know I just listened to the episode, but I can't recall if we talked about the new Order of the Phoenix Illustrated Edition that's out. Like, I feel like maybe we just, like, briefly... Like, how could we talk about it so briefly?
I think we briefly mentioned that it got a release date, because I remember saying it was in the fall, like October. But I don't know if there was a definitive date. And it was before that the cover was released. I think the cover had been released.
I think that's what it is. I think we talked about the fact that that we got a release date and that it was happening, and we were all very excited to talk about it. But we just got a cover. So that needs to be talked about.
It does. And we got another name, too.
Yeah. And it's not Order of the Schmeenix. That's not the other name that we're talking about.
No, it's not. It's not Border of the Phoenix, more like it. Boredom of the Phoenix.
That's how we really feel about Order of the Phoenix. No, the name that we have to talk about is...
Neil Packer.
Neil Packer. We have to talk about Neil Packer. Because if you look at the cover, it now says illustrated by Jim Kay with Neil Packer. So it's not exclusively illustrated by Jim Kay.
Which is crazy. And I highly doubt that like Jim Packer like put his hand on Jim Kay's hand as he's drawing pictures.
No,
right?
I highly
I
doubt
think
that.
I think they each contributed artwork. And so my personal speculation is that I think there will be very distinct moments in the book where there'll be Neil Packer artwork. I don't think you'll wonder whose is whose. I think there'll definitely be like a time and a place where you'll be like, oh, this is the Neil Packer stuff. So, but I don't know. I haven't seen any examples of it yet. Have you?
Not well, I mean, it was there were just 2 teaser pictures. I posted them on my Instagram, I believe, but I'm pretty sure there were 2 teaser pictures of the inside, and just the cover was all we got. And now I'm looking back in our episode notes, and in episode 2 we talked about the release of Order of the Phoenix, but now that we have the cover, I feel like now there is quite a bit more to chat about. So yeah, the whole Neil Packer thing, he has an Instagram, so it's worth like taking a little bit of a peek into if you're curious about his style and where you think that that's gonna go. But I can't wait to see it. This book is going to be a hefty book.
It sure is. Well, and here I'm on the J.K. Rowling website. And it talks about that this task was so like big that Jim Kay decided it was time to bring in a guest collaborator and dear friend, Neil Packer.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they show 2 teaser images here. There's one of Neville and Luna on the Hogwarts Express, and it's clearly a Jim Kay picture. Like, clearly.
Yeah.
But then the other image is it's Ferenzi's classroom in the castle with text like kind of in these windows, and it's just like green and kind of like a light green color and an even lighter green color, like 3 different shades of green, and it's all made in like this really cool way. And it is more like kind of a background image where it's like a text page. It's not just like a full page image. It's a full page image, but there's text on both pages.
It's pretty cool.
Have you seen it, Melanie?
I'm pretty sure. I think I did see it because I'm pretty sure I posted it on Instagram. Also cool to talk about. I just stumbled onto Bloomsbury, and there are differences between the cover for the American versus the British books. And I know that this is something that we kind of talk about, and we always do like the comparisons, and we'll do this more when the books come out. But I feel like lean toward the British editions. I like that the font is smaller, so you see more of the image more clearly. But in this one, I like the color choice for the American editions a lot more. They use like a pale blue, which complement the Patronuses, whereas the British editions uses like a light green text. So that will be cool to see.
Yeah, because up until now they've been the same color, haven't they? Just different font style.
No, because Sorcerer's... I'm sorry to turn around, but Sorcerer's Stone is silver American, blue British. Chamber of Secrets is red and red. Yeah. And then Prisoner of Azkaban is American is green, and British is like a yellowy gold.
Yeah, I remember that.
And looks like Goblet of Fire is the same, like an orangey red.
I think that's why I thought they were the same, because that was the one I most recently looked at, and they were both the same. But yep, you're right. Now I feel like a fool.
I know. We have one other bit of news, and it's such a shame that I'm talking about this because I had a really good transition from what we were just talking about into our main segment. But I have to go back to this last bit of news because we finally released our new logo. We released it.
It's out. It's out there.
It's out. It is on our website, which you can access all over the place. I feel like my website links the website to this podcast, and our Instagram links to the website, and Instagram now features our logo. Our email address now features the logo. It's out. It's all over the place. Now, the next big thing is we're going to get some merch. We're going to figure that out.
Got to get those dog toys made up.
Oh my gosh. I just like Rubius Hagrid, and I don't mean the character. I mean my dog, Rubius Hagrid, needs a Dialogue Alley Frisbee. Like, he just needs it. He needs it in his life. He told me that he wants that Frisbee.
I choked a little bit as he said that. Yep, that's the first thing on the list. We're going to make dog frisbees.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but yeah, it's out there. It's pretty great, I think. It's very versatile. And if you're listening to this on something, you've probably already seen it because it updates on all the different platforms that we have our show on. So
yeah, let us know what you guys think. And this is like we say at the end of every episode to leave us feedback on whatever platform you're listening to us on. But this is like a specific thing where you could just be like, hey guys, this is what we think of the logo. We're just curious, and we'd also love to hear what type of merch you'd love to see with this logo on it. Whether it's a Frisbee or a beanie hat or temporary tattoos.
Yeah, or a lanyard.
Yeah, let us know.
Maybe. I think it is worth noting that like the logo itself is the font and little brick things. There's like a cool magical book that it's on top of, but we can put it on top of anything. So it can just be just the font and bricks itself, which is pretty cool too. So it's not going to be like a t-shirt with that book on it. It might just be the logo. So
yeah,
you can really kind of play around with stuff, and
we're
if you want something with the logo on it, let us know, and we'll try to make it happen.
Sounds good to me, and sounds exciting, and I can't wait to have all of the Dialogue Alley things.
Me 2. So let's quick talk about the illustrated Jim Kay book so that you can make a transition into our next segment.
Oh, well, what I was going to say is, I'm looking at the Bloomsbury site where it shows images of the new book, but what it doesn't show an image of yet is what the deluxe illustrated edition is going to look like. And I think on that note, we should take a little bit of a dive into those deluxe illustrated editions and have a nice chat about them. Deluxe illustrated editions. Are you going to chat about them?
I think I am.
Both gonna
I think I'll lead into it here.
Tell me about it. Tell me about those Deluxe illustrateds.
I don't know much about them. That's what we're talking about them. And I know a couple people have reached out to us and asked to hear more about them. So little old me here, collector of translations and other Harry Potter things, have to draw the line somewhere. So I only get the Jim Kay hardcover illustrated editions published by Scholastic, which is the American publisher of the illustrated books. And I buy one of them. They're more expensive than a regular book, and I think they're wonderful. I look at them, I read them, and that's it. So I have one copy of books 1, 2, 3, and 4 at this point. I don't need the UK books. I don't need the other font on the cover. And I didn't know there was a deluxe edition of these books until Melanie started talking about them, and we were kind of like, whoa. So I'm kind of in this situation like, well, do I need to go buy them? So I haven't made up my mind yet, but maybe I will once Melanie tells us more about them. So what's the deal with these deluxe editions?
So first, what I will say is that some of these books, it is thought that they are particularly put out by Bloomsbury, which is not 100% true because some of them have been printed by Scholastic, if not all of them, or all of the illustrated editions of the Harry Potter books, I believe, have been printed by Scholastic. I have a Chamber of Secrets that's by Scholastic that I was able to get for not a lot of money at all of the Deluxe Illustrated. But I only have, other than that one, which I would sell it, but I have them all in the UK Bloomsbury editions for books 1 through 4, which is what's out so far. There are also deluxe illustrated edition books for Tales of Beetle the Bard, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. All 3 of those have deluxe illustrated editions as well. And what makes them this deluxe version is the fact that they are significantly larger than the regular illustrated books. I am pretty sure I have an Instagram post of this book versus the regular illustrated edition, also versus the paperback illustrated edition books, which we can talk a bit about those as well. And this book is a beast. It's the biggest book that I have on my shelves, to the point where it doesn't stand upright on my shelves. They have to be sideways because otherwise they wouldn't fit. And they also all have slip cases that are in a very nice cloth. They are very sturdy, very heavy, very, very well made. All right, so I just pulled a book off my shelves. My hand is about 7 inches. So I would say that this book is probably about 14 inches tall. 7.
Which one is this?
This is Goblet of Fire, but they're all the same size.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking on Amazon at the Chamber of Secrets one, and it says it's just over 8 pounds.
They're very heavy. That's
a heavy book.
They are so heavy. The slipcase definitely adds quite a bit to the weight, but majority of the weight is in the book. And then when you take the slipcase off, all of them are. That was a lot of boxes falling.
There's a lot of boxes. Oops.
So, when you take a look at, so right now I'm just going to talk about the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
When you look at the books, each book is a different solid color. So That's like always like the big secret is like, oh, what color is the next book going to be? So far we have Philosopher's Stone is purple. Chamber of Secrets is red. Prisoner of Azkaban is blue.
It's like a teal, I'd almost say.
Yeah, but then I'm calling it more of a blue because I feel like Goblet of Fire is more of a teal.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh my gosh, is this like going back to like the blue teal debate?
No, is the dress yellow or is it blue?
Is it blue or is it white? So yeah, it's like a greeny kind of teal color, Goblet of Fire. So Goblet of Fire is the one that I have in front of me. So all of them are the one solid color, and then they all have a lot of like gold foil imaging on them. So the book itself in Goblet of Fire has a picture of, I would say it's supposed to be the tent for the
champions?
Either that or it's supposed to be for when they go to the Quidditch World Cup.
Yeah.
It's a really cool image, and this is something like we'll post pictures of this as well. But the slipcase has a different image on it. So the slipcase has a picture of a dragon on both sides, also done in gold foiling. And another thing that all of the books have that make it just add to the richness of it is they all have the gold page edge. Like the edges are all that like gilded gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that gold edge really adds to the luxury of the book. And one of my favorite things that I always feel like adds a bit of extra pizzazz to a book is when they have that ribbon
bookmark thing.
Yeah. Well, this book has 2 ribbon bookmarks.
Why would you need 2?
Because what's better than 1 is 2.
I mean, I suppose if like you and your best pal are like both reading the book and you want to each save your spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then this one comes with a preliminary sketch of Hogwarts on the inside that comes in like a very nice little folder. It is just such a well done, beautiful, like if we were to do a tots on this book for quality, like if there was something above O, it would get it.
Well, and I would hope so because I'm looking at all these prices to get these books that have been previously released, and they are expensive. They're all like $150 now, and I'm assuming that's because they've been out for a while and maybe they stopped publishing them or like printing more copies. But they're all like over $100 to buy the deluxe edition still.
Yeah, and I will say what I have done in the past, and if this is something that you're looking to do going forward, in the past, I have gotten the best prices by buying them once they are released. I feel like this book always goes up in value, and the price always seems to skyrocket with them after they're released or like a few years later. I feel like right now, like the deluxe editions for books 1 through 4 are going to be going up for a bit before book 5 comes out because people are going to realize, hey, like, wait, book 5, that's so amazing. The deluxe edition of that book. Let me go back and get the whole set. So now the other books in that set have gone up in price.
It's like the Christmas ornament situation.
Don't even get me started on that.
Well, so like you mentioned the price. How much is the new Order of the Phoenix Deluxe Edition?
I don't want to say it. So what I saw on Bloomsbury's website, which is the only place that I've been able to find it so far, and that's not to say that it won't be on Amazon UK, which I'm sure it will be.
Right.
On Bloomsbury right now, it is 175 pounds.
Yikes.
Pounds. I know.
That's heavy.
Yeah. it's heavy on my pockets.
Heavy in my pocketbook. Woo!
Yeah, so now I'm just taking like a peek back at, because I'm pretty sure I've bought all of my deluxe illustrated editions from Amazon UK. Actually, I'm pretty sure I got book 1 on eBay years ago. Book 2 I got on Amazon UK, and I spent £130, I think.
Okay.
Which I'm pretty sure it's selling for like $150-ish now.
I saw a couple on A-Books for like between $120, $150, and those are used, so like it is what it is, but yeah. I'm assuming based on what you said about the quality and the size of this, unless you like really tried to damage this book, it's probably going to be just fine.
Yeah. Prisoner of Azkaban, I think I paid £100 for. That's what it's looking like it's selling for right now on Amazon UK. So that's really good. If you're going to buy these directly from Bloomsbury, you might have a bit more of a challenge with that. And then Goblet of Fire, again, is in that £125 range. Now, keep in mind, Order of the Phoenix is going to be significantly heavier because it is such a big book. And
it's the biggest one.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Because it's heavy, you're going to be expected to pay a lot for shipping for it. So all things to kind of keep in mind, but they all are out there. Like if you want to get these books, it's not something that's incredibly rare. You would be able to find them. It's just
they're expensive.
They're expensive, but you're paying for quality. And these books, they look stunning on the shelves. Absolutely stunning. They're some of my absolute favorite books. And I love looking at them and just like going through it now and talking about it. Like, you know, I'm so happy that I have them. And it really does feel like a very special luxury set. So I recommend them.
No, don't say that.
I know. No. I know a lot of people don't, especially because they are so huge and heavy. Like, this book is very heavy.
I kind of want one now.
Well, just get book 1. Just get book 1.
Yeah, I could try to get book 1. So, the cover is different because it's a solid cover. Is the actual, like, cover art that's on my book in that book somewhere?
I believe so. Yes, because I'm pretty sure that all of the cover art image is featured later in all of the books.
That is true, yep. But it doesn't have like a title page that is the same cover art as the non-deluxe edition.
Well, oh my gosh. Every time I put this book on the floor and then like pick it up again, I think I pull a muscle like trying to open it.
Well, and you burn like 29 calories every time you pick it up.
So heavy. Okay.
It's going to be like a new diet plan. We're going to come up with one. It's going to be called the Harry Potter Deluxe Edition Exercise.
Yeah, whatever. Seriously. Like, just do squats while holding this book.
Just hold the Deluxe Edition, and you will...
So it's not right when you open the book, but what is right when you open the book is an image of the tent from the Triwizard Tournament, which is the image that is etched on the front in the foiling, which is something that we talked about. But I'm pretty sure that dragon image does pop up later in the book. So I'm just... Ooh, there's a picture of a blast-ended Scroot in here. I forgot all about.
Scary. Do they have things that you could take out? Because I saw, like, Chamber of Secrets had, like, a poster that you could take out and fold it out.
Yeah, that's one of the things... in the front, it comes with like a preliminary sketch image.
Oh.
And it's in like this nice like parchment kind of like paper. It is very nice. I'm sure that image is in here. I just can't seem to find it. And this book is just so big. Like I just don't have the space to be going through it. Ooh. Just the sound of turning the pages just feels like luxury.
It sounds like you're like putting a lot of effort into turning each page.
I am. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy, this book. Did you hear that? Oh my gosh.
I did.
I think you heard it without the headphones.
I did. Well, the great thing about this is that this is February, right? My birthday's in April. My wife will listen to this podcast, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, maybe we need one of those in our house. And maybe I'll get one for Erik for his birthday. And he won't even know because he's never actually asked for one. But maybe this would be something that I can get him and secretly, like, I'll enjoy too.
I mean, she would. These books are unbelievable. Like, they're so enjoyable. You need at least book one.
I do. I need at least book one. And it's purple, right?
Book one is purple.
Oh, it's my wife's favorite color. It's purple. What a great birthday gift for me.
Exactly. A book that you both will enjoy. It's so good. So the other books that we could talk about super quick. Well, two more things that we could talk about super quick. One is that this is not deluxe editions, but I just want to say, because I mentioned it earlier, that there's also paperback editions that Bloomsbury came out with for the illustrated editions. They have limited imaging from the original books. So some of
they've removed some of the
I think just
pictures?
To make them like a bit more compact, and they're also quite a bit smaller.
Okay.
They're about I would say an inch and a half smaller all around.
Do you think they're the size of the Jim K Magical Yearbook?
That's actually a pretty good size comparison. I would say that they are, except they're paperback.
Right.
But I honestly think that if we were to do tots about them and talk about size and proportion, these books are the most amazing size and proportions. They're so good. And they feel in your hands, they feel so good. It's just perfect book. So cute. So those are other ones. I definitely recommend all of the different versions. I know that, Erik, you're only getting the Scholastic hardcover, but
for now, I mean,
if you're into these illustrated editions and you really love them, I highly recommend the deluxe editions, and I highly recommend the paperbacks. I just feel like they're all different books, and they all deserve a bit of love.
So maybe I'll pick up a paperback one too, just one of them, because I don't see myself getting, and this is now, right? I don't see myself getting all of the deluxe editions starting now. I mean, maybe I will, but man, that's a lot of money. I'm just thinking about it, and having one is fine. So I don't know if I need all of them, but it would be nice to have one.
I will say, if you are going to get the paperbacks, the paperback of book one has different cover art than...
I've seen that. You know what? Now that you've said that, at my school, at the Scholastic Book Fair, that's the one that they sell there. So that would make sense.
See?
That I've seen it.
There you go.
Yep. Which, of course, they sell for full retail price inside the jacket. So...
Oh, boy. Gotta watch out for that. The other thing that I wanted to touch on quickly is the fact that the auxiliary books, so Tales of Beetle the Bard, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Quidditch Through the Ages all also have illustrated editions, which means they also all have deluxe illustrated editions as well.
Goodness me.
Right. So, I actually don't own Quidditch Through the Ages or I own Fantastic Beasts or Tales of Beetle the Bard Deluxe. They are in my Amazon cart for Amazon UK, so I will get them eventually. They've been in my cart for quite some time. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it. But when the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them Deluxe Illustrated was released, they sold copies with the book signed by the illustrator.
Whoa.
I know. So, yeah, when this book was released, it was they were offering signed copies, which is really cool. Very special, because I don't know how else I would have gotten this book signed.
Right.
I'm blown away by it. The difference between this book and the Harry Potter books is the slipcase is not a solid color. It still has gold foiling throughout, but it's like a splattered paint effect. And the imaging it's that picture of like a centaur on the back. Or on one side, it has like a picture of a centaur. And then on the other side, it just kind of looks like this very abstract art. It's beautiful, though. It really is like a beautiful image. And then the book itself has a picture of a Ukrainian iron belly. And when you get the deluxe illustrated edition, you also get another one of those like sketch images. They have like a very frameable picture of a phoenix that you can have. It's very cool. It does not have the gold like gilded edges, but other than that, it is still that outstanding quality that you get from the deluxe illustrated Harry Potter books. It's not as big or as heavy, so these are a bit like easier to manage if you wanted to add some deluxe illustrated books into your collection, but we're a little worried about like the pricing for the Harry Potter books. These books,
or like you're just a weak person, you don't want to lift like a giant book.
Seriously, like these books they're a more manageable size. They are still quite large, but they're not as heavy, not as bulky, not as gigantic as the Harry Potter books, but still, in my opinion, so worth it, so high quality, and definitely feel like the nice collector type editions. Which I have to say, like, we have 2 collector edition books, right? We have those leather-bound Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets books, which are the quote-unquote collector editions. However, the quality of those books are garbage.
I was going to say that that's terrible. They, like, fall apart. Like, you could open them, and they would fall apart, and you did nothing wrong besides open a book. And you're like, whoops,
or you have, like, the plastic jacket on those that, like, the type of plastic that it is, it yellows, or it dries out. It's like the most
brittle plastic ever.
Exactly. So, like, for a collector edition book, like, I love to say, hey, I'm a Harry Potter book collector, and here are the collector editions, like, my special edition collector books. Like, oh, they're these piece of garbage leather edition books. Like, they are not good. They're not good. So to have these deluxe illustrated edition books in my collection, I really feel like those are the books that are showstoppers. Like, they really are so stunning, so high quality, and such luxurious books.
Yeah, I think I need the first book. I think I need it. I think you convinced me. Mm-hmm. Before we move on, really quick, the illustrated edition, the deluxe one of Beetle the Bard, is it the UK art or is it the US art? Because that book, there are 2 different illustrated editions. I'm pretty
sure that they are both or all 3 of them, I think, are the UK art, because these books are printed by Bloomsbury. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Which, man, we should have an episode about that, because the US and UK Beetle the Bard books are so different, but I like them both for such different reasons, and I don't really have a favorite, but they're just really, it's really cool
ages too.
To see how
all of them are different.
Wait, it is seriously the whole book is different?
Well, it's not the whole book. The cover art's different.
The cover's different. Well, the whole book of Beetle the Bard's different in the UK US ones.
Of Beetle the Bard? Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huh. The whole book. The US is more of like I don't know, like a minimalist kind of art style. It's like blotchy paint. And the UK version is very detailed, like sketches that are colored in.
Wow, we should do an episode all on those. Do you have both of Fantastic Beasts and Tales of Beetle the Bard. I do have both British and US. I guess I never really opened them side by side. I should do that.
Oh, flip through them. It's a completely different book. So that's the only one that I have both of them, because it's not just the cover that's different. The whole book is different.
All right, guys, a little bit of foreshadowing on something we'll be talking about in the future episode. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so summing things up, like, You need these books. Eric, you need these books.
I don't know. I don't know if I need all of them. I think one will suffice. That answered a lot of my questions. I hope it answered some listeners' questions as well, because I don't feel like these books are marketed.
No, it's very
as
quiet.
Well, it's very quiet. I didn't even know that these were a thing until I saw one of the covers, and it doesn't even look like a Harry Potter book, to be honest. Like, it's just a blank, not blank, a solid cover with a little image on it. Like, there's no words on it. It doesn't say J.K. Rowling, it doesn't say Harry Potter. There's no lightning, scholastic font. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, it's very, like, underground.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I suppose if you're, like, a hardcore collector, you're into it. But I didn't even know about them. So, there you go.
See?
All right, so the translation of the show for this episode is going to be a Ukrainian book, partly because the Ukrainian books are amazing, also because there is a big situation going on in Ukraine, and we want to just show our support for no war. We are anti-war on the Dialogue Alley podcast.
Oh, absolutely. And definitely supporting Ukraine right now, and our hearts and everything that we have is, with the people that are struggling and dealing with this situation right now. So, good opportunity to talk about a book that we love.
It is, and boy, do we love it, because these Ukrainian books, we've talked about book 1 before in a previous episode, so all the information with the translator and the publisher, that's all the same. But these books are really cool, and they're really wacky and bizarre. But we love them.
Dude, I love these covers so much. They're so good.
They are so good. So just a quick recap. The publisher.
Do it.
You want to say it, Melanie?
Do it. It's amazing.
Okay. Ababahalamaha.
Did you get all of it? Ababahalamaha. Ababahalamaha.
I don't. I want to learn more about that publisher, because I don't. It's got to be like initials of a bunch of people or something. I don't know.
Sounds amazing.
It does sound amazing. So we've already talked about all the stats on Ukrainian, but quick recap about the language. Ukrainian is spoken in Ukraine, which is in Europe, and the language is written in the Cyrillic script. So there are quite a few other languages of that region that are also written in Cyrillic, including our amazing series of unfortunate events Serbian book that we talked about a few episodes ago. Oh, man, any chance to bring that book up is a chance we cannot miss. Never. So this book, man, we've talked about the first book, how the illustrators included everything you could possibly think of in that book. Well, they didn't hold back for book 2, let me tell you.
No, it definitely does not let down when it comes to detail.
It doesn't, but we will get to that in a moment. So let's get to the tot scale, and let's start out with the smell. And it's the same as book 1. It's the same publisher and everything. So let's see if it smells the same. It does, but now I can't remember what I gave book 1.
I don't know, probably an acceptable. I feel like when it's a neither here nor there kind of smell.
Yeah, there's no distinct odor of any kind, so I'd give it an acceptable.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Size and proportions, I also think are fine. It's a hardcover book. I should mention that all of these are hardcover. They don't have a jacket, and they don't have like a little flap, so it's just the pages with a hard binding. I think it's a pretty good size to read.
Yeah, I would give it like an acceptable to an exceeds expectations. Like, I feel like length by width, it's like a pretty... No, I would give it an acceptable. I feel like it is pretty standard when it comes to, length by width for this book.
I would agree with that. But I would say how it feels in your hand, like it's a pretty readable book. So I'd give that an exceeds expectations.
Yeah,
for sure.
And again, just like I'm pretty sure I gave book 1 exceeds expectations for this too. It has this like super ultra glossy cover, which is so nice. And I just love, like, as far as feels in my hands, I love the texture of the cover. It is wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great transition. And then I guess going right into quality, I think it's pretty well made. The spine has that kind of curved spine with the crease, like most of these hardcover books without a jacket do. So when you open it, like, I don't feel like it's really going to damage the book at all. Like it feels like a very readable book that you don't have to worry about like really cranking open to read. It's not going to crease the spine. It's not going to bend anything because the binding is actually not attached to the cover itself. So
that definitely is
on the
good
spine.
For quality. Yeah, so I would give it like an exceeds expectations for quality.
Yeah, I'd agree with exceeds expectations. Solid E.
Solid
there.
E. Capital
Solid E
solid
from
E.
Have we ever given it a lowercase E?
I don't think so. But it gets capital E today.
Well, and we kind of went through those quickly because we really want to get to the the cover art / interpretation of cover art, because boy, is this something.
I know that I gave an outstanding to book 1 because I just feel like for unique cover art, I'm always going to feel a little bit more drawn to it. And I feel like I know that these books are absolutely bonkers. There's so much going on in these covers, but they're just absolutely outstanding. And I feel like Chamber of Secrets is a bit more tame in comparison to Sorcerer's Stone. But it's still wild.
It's still wild. Like, the Ukrainian books for sure are ones that I hand people when they come over and I'm like, hey, look at this. And they're like, whoa, what's that? And I'm like, it's from Ukraine. And they're like, amazing. And I say, I know.
It's pretty wonderful.
That's like an exact conversation that I have with tons of people. So this book, let me describe it to you. We'll, of course, post pictures of this. If you've seen the American Mary Grand Pré book, you know, with Harry flying with Fox the Phoenix out of the Chamber of Secrets, holding, you know, Ron and Ginny, and, you know, he's got the sword. Well, it's got all that. However, it's interpreted a little bit differently. Now, Lockhart's also along for the ride now at the bottom.
Yes, he is.
And he
kind of looks like Willy Wonka.
He does. I was going to say he looks like Willy Wonka. Ginny's still sleeping, which is weird because she's definitely awake.
A lot, Eric.
She has. But Ron and Harry are both looking right at you.
Harry's kind of looking like he has seen some things. And
he has. He
just
has
like,
seen some things.
Yay, my sister.
Ron's like, I was waiting behind a wall the whole time, and they're back now.
He's so happy.
So let's go.
He just looks so happy.
Yeah, we made it. But they're flying out of the Chamber of Secrets, which is like what's that pit called on Tatooine that they try to push like Luke Skywalker into in Return of the Jedi? You know what I'm talking about?
Do you mean the Rancor pit?
I mean a Rancor pit, yeah. And except instead of like spiky, pointy, fangy things, it's like a bunch of
Which
faces.
For me, it looks like the Hall of Faces from Game of Thrones.
Totally does. It looks like the Hall. Yeah,
that's exactly
absolutely.
what it looks like.
But some other highlights on the cover that you really have to squint your eyes to see. There are 3 like little things in like a playing card sleeping bag.
You know what I figured out that those are? Those are the petrified people in the hospital wing, like in hospital beds.
Why do they have a red diamond on them?
They are petrified, obviously.
Oh, and I guess petrification signifies the need to use a red diamond.
Yes,
yeah, all right.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, I get that. Like, that's what I love about these Ukrainian books. You can like figure out what it's supposed to be, and you're like, yeah, okay, I get that. Unlike the Persian books, where you're like, I think that's supposed to be this guy.
Why is there a dinosaur on this book?
Why is there a dinosaur? I don't know. Anyway, around this pit of doom that they're emerging from, which is the Chamber of Secrets, there's a lot of critters. There's some snakes. There's some spiders. There's some like Salazar Slytherin like earrings.
Oh,
it looks like all around.
I thought that they were like lion
door knockers
is what I thought they were.
Maybe. Hogwarts is in the background. It looks different than the one you might be picturing in your head, but there is an ominous figure sneaking away from the castle.
I'm assuming that's supposed to be Snape, but why?
Oh, it's got it. It's got to be.
Snape isn't really like a pronounced bad guy in book 2. Really?
I don't know.
Maybe it's just because Harry like always thinks that it's Draco and Snape. It's always Draco and Snape.
Probably. I will mention the cover font is obviously in Cyrillic. However, they do use the kind of movie font with the lightning bolt. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. If we move to the spine, we see clearly the Tom Riddle diary with a snake going through the pages and like popping out the middle of the cover. And the snake has Tom Riddle's head on it.
Which, thankfully, book 1, I remember, has a huge spoiler, and it's literally like a picture of Voldemort attached to the back of Quirrell's head. Like this, thankfully, even though we know it's like Tom Riddle's face is the snake, or it's Voldemort's face is the snake, like this face looks like it could just be anybody. Like it looks like it could be Snape, honestly.
It could be. And like these books are so loud in terms of just the amount of content on them that I don't think you would really scour. I mean, maybe after reading the first book and realizing like, wow, there was a lot of information on the cover that I didn't know until I read it. Maybe then you'd pick up this book and you're like, okay, what can I try to figure out?
Yeah, maybe.
Like what's going to happen? Because like on the back of the book, there's the giant like spider. There's Aragog
wearing some sunglasses.
And there's Harry and Ron wearing not just one, but 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of sunglasses.
Spiders have 8 eyes, so
they do. So you got to cover them all.
And a mustache. It's amazing.
And a mustache. He's got it. And there's definitely Dobby. He's there in the pile of leaves.
Is that supposed to be Dobby?
And
it looks like a girl.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I imagine
because
there's no other elf introduced in book 2, so it's got to be Dobby. But it looks like a little girl elf. Huh.
It does.
Maybe they think Dobby's a girl.
Well,
wait.
Maybe they don't ever establish that he's a boy, do they?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they use the he pronoun for Dobby. But I wonder if this book was translated with a different pronoun for Dobby. I would be so curious.
If you speak Ukrainian, let us know. That'd be super interesting to find out.
I would love to know that. So cool. Sorry.
My neighbor is Russian, but she can read Ukrainian. So maybe she can take a look and let me know.
Ooh. I'm curious. I am very curious.
I am curious. But then, of course, we have Harry and Ron in the Ford Anglia
with Fang
car in the middle.
Who looks very surprised.
With Fang. Yep, Fang. You wouldn't know it's Fang. You might think it's just another spider on the back, but it's actually Fang, the dog. Hagrid's over there, like, huh? And he's got like an owl in his pocket.
It's so cute.
It is cute. So there's just a lot. There's a lot on this cover, just like all the other covers in Ukrainian, and they're awesome books. So if you have a chance to get any of these, even if you don't collect translations, any one of the 7 of these books are just amazing to have, to be like, check this out. It's really crazy in a very cool way.
Awesome cover art. Awesome.
So what would we give cover art interpretation of cover art? I'd give it an... Okay, I was going to say, I'd give it a no.
It is for sure no.
I think we did it. Ukrainian book 2. I only have books 1 and 2. I need to get more of these because they are outstanding. And we mentioned this in the first book. The spine images actually make a picture.
So cool.
But you don't really realize it until book 3. Like book 1 looks like it could be a standalone. Book 2 looks like it could be a standalone. But once you get 1, 2, and 3 together, you realize there's something more going on.
Which I feel like that's what Harry Potter's all about.
It is. It's about the magic and the mystery and the exploration of ideas. Right. And the coming-of-age tale of a boy.
Who happens to be a wizard. What?
Who happens to be a wizard. What? Spoiler alert. Chapter 3, book 1. Or 4, maybe.
Harry,
chapter
you're
4.
a wizard.
Or you just read the back, cover of book
Yeah,
one.
pretty sure it doesn't the blurb literally say, like, Harry is a wizard.
Or you look at the cover and he's on a broomstick. So you're kind of like, oh.
Oh, right.
Oh. There you go. Well, that's it. Ukrainian, book 2. Amazing book.
Well, on that note, that is all we have time for today. But if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Instagram. You can find me at the Harry Potter Collection. You can find Erik at Nocturne Erik. And you can also find Carly. She's on there at All the Pretty Books. Even though she wasn't with us today, she still posts on her Instagram. So you can find her on there. And you could also send us a DM if you want to message us directly. You can send us DMs on our Instagram accounts, or you can send us a DM right on the Instagram account for this podcast, which is at Dialoguealleypodcast. And if you are not so much a DM person or an Instagram person and you listen to this podcast and you have a question, you could also send us an email, which is dialoguealleypodcast@gmail.com. And we love getting emails. We love getting questions. We love getting topic ideas about things that you guys want to have more information on. That's always helpful for us because we love having new ideas and we want to talk about what things everybody wants us to talk about. Like we want to keep it interesting.
This episode topic was suggested by people, so it was something that we weren't planning on talking about until you wonderful folks let us know that you wanted more info.
Yeah, and we're more than happy to share our knowledge of these books. So definitely send us an email or send us a DM if you have, suggestions or questions or anything like that. We would love to hear from you. And our Instagram is a place where we are going to be posting pictures of the books that we're talking about today. So you'll see pictures of the Deluxe illustrated edition books that we were talking about. Also, the Ukrainian books that we were talking about, particularly book 2. I know Erik just posted in his little Instagram story about it. So we do have pictures of these books on our accounts, but we'll have it directly on the Dialogue Alley podcast Instagram. So that's where you'll be able to see our pictures. You can also find more images at either Carly or my website, which is either alltheprettybooks.net or theharrypottercollection.com. Yeah, you could find our podcast on any place or any platform that you listen to podcasts on. So wherever you're comfortable at this point listening to our podcast, whether it is Apple or Google or Spotify, or just, you just happen to still use Pandora, that's cool too. We're on there. So feel free.
We are.
Listen to us there. Wherever your heart's desire, we will be there for you on those platforms. And again, like getting the reviews directly on those podcast apps is very helpful for us, and it's helpful for new listeners who are looking into listening to a Harry Potter podcast, know a little bit more from you guys what our podcast is all about. So that is always super helpful to us.
Stay tuned for new logo stuff. If you want to get something with a logo on it.
Yeah, that's definitely why it's important to follow us on, social media is going to be where that stuff is going to be updated the most. But, if you keep listening to us, we're going to be shouting out in the news when our merch is going to be coming out. So can't wait to share that with you guys. But now it is time to walk back through the archway and into your daily lives. And we will catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye. You stole my see you later.